Welcome to George Coll Fine Art. Here, the viewer is encouraged to get outside and paint from life. George's job is to provide the tools to solve the many technical challenges faced in rendering landscape paintings. View the library of landscape paintings offered and become a subscriber. You can also purchase tutorial videos, plus original tutorial and studio paintings. Thank you. And if you like what you see, click the subscribe button and join in on the fun.
Hello and welcome to part one of a three-part series titled Indian Peaks. That's just south of Rocky Mountain National Park here in Colorado. So part one is block in. We figured out where the color values, the basic breakdown value of the value shapes. So that's what we did today, and I think it came out pretty good. So we go through that step by step, so stay tuned and we'll show you how to do it. So get outside and paint. Paint with your friends, get critiques, and don't be intimidated by a white canvas. All right, let's get started. Hey, welcome to part one of a new three-part series titled Indian Peaks. So today we're starting with a blank canvas and we will do block in. This is part one of a three-part series, and just a good little 9x14 to get back into the groove. So as some of you know, I've been being lazy here and getting involved in some other things, painting, and now we're back to doing our little paintings online here. This is a lot of fun. Okay, so with Indian Peaks, I found this beautiful place. It's just south of Rocky Mountain National Park, and it's just a wonderful place to be. So let's start with block in. We want to get some value colors in where and find the appropriate value colors within the right shapes. So I'm going to get a little bit of blue and green and gray and a little bit of burnt sienna. Just kind of a nice gray blue. It's really, see how thoroughly I mix that. I got just a little bit of Gamsol in it to give it a little bit of spread. Lays down a little easier. So the first thing I want to find out is, can I find a horizon line or something I can build up from and down from? And I see that to the left of the painting, a little bit below center, is the lake. So I'll put that in right here somewhere. And from there we're going to have trees coming down, and then we have trees going up. And then from there we also have, I'm just making it even thinner, I'm going to have some sort of design. And I think I'm going to make it bigger too. I'm going to make the Indian Peaks a little taller, because it makes it for a little bit more interest. All right, with that then, we have this guy, and then we have this really interesting little stream that comes to about here, or say here, and here, and here, and here. And then we have a meadow up in here. Goes like this. And then we have a whole bunch of tree things in this area. I think this area here I could do a little bit more. Do tree A and tree B. And they're going to go up in this area. We'll have tall, and then this bent guy here. So I changed the design of the trees. Okay. We also have some interesting trees over in here. And here. And that might be enough just for our line stuff here. So, let's see if we can make some darker greens here. So I want to go with kind of a base green for these areas here, 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 and in the trees. So let's just go with some ultra blue. Cad yellow, medium. Cad yellow, medium. I need a lot of it, so I'm going to get more blue. Cad yellow. Cad yellow. And more cad yellow. And yeah, that's a thorough mixture. All right. Let's get back and take a look at those lines and see if they're going to do the trick. So far, so good. So I'm going to start out with a number 4 flat. Bristline, I think this is the name of this brand. Add a little bit more brown to this. A little bit more brown. And a touch more ultra blue. I'm going to go light in here, just using the side of my brush to just get a little bit of base color, and then add a little bit more blue and burnt sienna. And I'm going to start working on this peculiar looking scrubby tree. And then this other peculiar design of a tree over in here. There's just some real good darks down here, and we'll just carry these more over in here too. A lot of darks up in this lower right. So I'm going to go more ultra blue, a little bit more burnt sienna. And a little bit more traditional shapes over here in the way of trees. Down into this area. I'm I'm going to add just a little bit of red viridian in here, burnt sienna, a little bit of dark green, and some ultra blue. And I'm going to accent some of these darks with this kind of reddish brown color. I'm going to run some connections between the darks here and here and here and here. Now there's another pine tree line right here, and I want it to go back, so I'm going to add more blue to this mixture and a little bit of Naples yellow, Naples yellow. It's kind of a gray green, and you can see added just a little bit of white to it to lighten it up, because I wanted to show that there's a difference between the foreground trees and the background trees. All right, I'm going to get back and take a look. Okay, let's make a meadow color. I think there's some trees in here that show there's a lake, so let's put some dark trees in a few places here. So we need more of a yellow-green. So I'm going to get some permanent green and some white and some Naples. And I'm going to put this in with a little bit more green. Okay, and then I'm going to mix the green into the darker colors here and put that stuff in the foreground. Just a little bit of Gamsol. And just a little bit. Okay, now for the mountains. Might have to keep some of this green handy to change my design here, because some of these pine trees are going up the side of the alpine mountains. Okay, so let me put these greens over to one side. I think this one's safely out of the way, and let me clear this up a little bit. I better peek at my time to see how I'm doing on my time. 16 minutes. This is an eternity in this business. Okay, wow, I'll take a sip of coffee. Nice little design so far. Ready to get back on it. Now with mountains, I'm going to go to a little bit smaller brush, to a number 2 flat bristline. Got it from Jerry's Arnorama. So let's make it gray. So here we have gray, And the particular gray is a Portland Cool Gray by Gamblin. Portland Cool by Gamblin. I'm going to get a little bit of cerulean. And a little bit of ultra in here. And let me just get a little bit of Gamsol on here to make it spread a little bit more even. And I know you see that there's snow up there and all these little details, but for now I just want to try to get a value in there that's going to go back. I put a little bit more Gamsol in here. The Arapahoe Peaks entrance is close to Ward, Colorado, and Ward is close to Boulder, so get a lot of college students up here. And when I was up here, I ran into a couple young gals that lost one. They had two dogs, and one of them ran off when they were up at the higher lake. There's Long Lake, and then there's another one up above it, and I was almost there when I ran into these gals that lost their dog, so I didn't quite get to the second lake because we were looking for the dogs. Okay, and it was getting dark, as you can see. I think what I need to do is get that design down for the darks that go up the hill. Let me see if I can get some of that and design some of it. Okay. Close enough for now. Let me clean this brush, go back to the blue, and work around those designs that I just drew in. Trying to be a little bit more careful now. Oh, got a little contamination on my brush. Okay, close enough now. Let's get some sky in here. So I'm going to get some warm gray by Gamblin. It's Portland Warm Gray. Gamblin Warm Gray. And I'm going to get a little bit of that and start getting some values up here in the sky. So when I really squint down, the sky values are a little lighter than the values here on the mountain. So I'm going to use the same gray brush, I think, to get my design here. And I think what I need to find is some Indian yellow if I have it somewhere. I may not be able to find it in this period of time that I'm looking for. Indian yellow. Nope. Oh, found it. I just kind of see some of that yellow up in the sky there. And then I see kind of a really light orangey type color in there too. So I'm going to use some Hansa Yellow Deep for that. Hansa Yellow Deep by Gamblin. Hansa. Hansa. It's great yellow. So let's mix some sort of a warmer gray up. And I'm going to get some cobalt in here. Oh, I need to go darker, don't I? Get back to my warms. And a little bit more cobalt in here. And let me get a little bit more. None of that's doing the trick yet. So back to gray. Let's get into ultra. Let's get into gray. Touch of alizarin. And that might be too close to the mountains in value. So let me mix that together, lighten that down with some white. I'm going to get some of that warm Portland back into it. Warm Portland and white. Now there's a lot of design going on in those clouds, but if I could just kind of get a good base value in there, I think I'd be happy. Particularly with the amount of time I have left. Oh, 8 minutes, this is great. Okay, so I'm going to go back to a number 4. And adding just a little bit of raw sienna. I'm going to go back to that cobalt. And let's see what we got. That is a good color. You never know when you start playing around where you're going to end on some of these, but I encourage you to play around. And I really think I got the right value for that sky now. Now, underneath this sky, this darker mixture I've just made, and I'm softening these edges where the yellows are going to be, I have a lighter sky color. So I'm going to go back to cobalt and just I just come into the edge of this bigger mixture I have, and I'm going to be putting that in here. And I see it kind of come across the bottom here, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Should probably use a smaller brush to get in here, but I'm loaded up for bear, so let me get going here. So far I haven't contaminated the painting with a bad mixture. And I think we have some interesting colors right up in here that are cerulean in nature. All right, and let's go over to the yellows now and finish up what we have started before we run out of time. So we're going to get some Hansa going in here. And we'll get that right in here. And a little bit down in here. And the Hansa seems to come down into these lower trees. It's a nice color combination. Now we're going to go over to the Indian yellow. Indian looks so dull when it comes out of a tube, and then if you add a little white to it, it just goes kabunga. There's a nice, rich, warm look to it. It is a transparent too. It's a very transparent color. And just a little bit of yellow ochre to it. All right, let me get back and look. I should probably change to a smaller brush too. Oh, that's nice. All right, so off camera I'm going to get a smaller brush in my hand and work around these trees so I don't have many peekaboos coming through. And Indian is so yellow, or so strong, it's hard to get it out of your brush. All right, so let's get down below and get some of these sky colors over into here, 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 there, and a little bit into here. I need to get some darks in there. Blue, green, red, burnt sienna, green, nasty darks. And build up some darks in here. We'll go back to some sky color. I'm really feeling the pressure of that dinger going off in my ear and just scaring, making me jump. So I'm not going to jump this time, okay? And I might as well get some nice yellow colors in here too. All right, so that is bringing this part to an end, part 1, blocking. So we've covered the whole 9x12 with some sort of value colors. They're not too far off. And tomorrow we're going to work on top of these colors with thicker paint. So with that, thank you for coming by to start part 1 of Indian Peaks. All right, thanks.